Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Julia Berry from Uproot Design Studio. I'm calling in from the land of the Muncie Lenape people here in Brooklyn, New York. And today I'm chatting with Jenn de la Vega, the owner of Family Party Catering, which mashes experiential with visual art and food. Jenn is also an event producer, author, cookbook collaborator, recipe developer, food stylist, a judge of the James Beard Award, among others, and has appeared on Gastronauts, Guy Fieri's Grocery Games, and Chef Doc with Justin Warner, among a million other awesome things. And that's not all. Outside the food industry, Jenn serves on the board of directors for The Tank, which is a theater really close to my heart. Yeah, The Tank,
Yeah.
and is an Emmy and Crit Award nominated tabletop role playing podcaster on Fun City. So, here's to wearing many hats and doing lots of creative things. I'm so excited to meet you and chat with you about community centered catering, sustainable food, and wherever else our conversations take us. So, to start off, can you please tell us your pronouns and anything else you want people to know that I didn't mention in your intro?
Oh my goodness. When you read it back to me, it sounds so long. But
Yeah, that was the like abridged version
I
of
know.
how many words I could say at once. So yeah, you're doing impressive stuff.
Well, it's much appreciated. Hello, everybody. I'm Jenn de la Vega. I generally say to people that I'm a culinary artist, because there are many things that you can do with that. Most recently, though, I just started a new podcast called The Cinema Chefs with my friend
Ooh.
Clara Park. She lives in Philadelphia, and she's also similarly a multi-hyphenate chef. She's won on Chopped, she's done snack versus food, and we decided we wanted to talk to people about our favorite dishes in movies. And so that's what the Cinema Chefs is all about.
That's amazing. We have a book that's about dishes inspired by books, and I feel like that's like
Ooh.
in the same realm of like eating the story in a way, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that we can learn real world things from fantasy and fiction, and kind of the other way around, that it inspires amazing world building and imagination. So it feels right.
Yeah. It's like a true mashup of your the things you love. I
Hmm.
love that. Well, I'd love to hear more about um what community-centered catering means, recipe developer, food stylist, like all these terms that we're throwing around. I mean, I think your catch-all phrase was very good for including everything. But yeah, I'd love to dive into some of the details of
Yeah.
what you're up to, what it means.
Yeah, I mean, I think about this a lot, and which is how I arrived at community-centered catering. So when you think of catering, what event do you usually think of? It's usually a singular event.
Probably a wedding? I don't know.
Yes. While that is most of my experience, when I started to be a chef, I did a lot of weddings, and I actually still do weddings, but my interest lies in using people's stories and community connection to create the menus. So for in the example of a wedding, say there's a couple and I ask them a list of questions. Like it's almost like a creative brief for an agency, like
Yeah.
I ask, how did you meet? What did you eat on your first date? Is there something that you cook together on a regular basis? Is that something you want to share with everyone else? Do you have family recipes that we can incorporate? Is there someone in your family I can talk to about their recipes? And so we take all that information and adapt it to a large scale menu, and it becomes this really fun, interactive experience for the entire family. So they can
Love
see
that.
that they are part of this process. It's kind of longer than picking a menu from a binder. Like I give people this example of Father of the Bride. Do you remember that movie?
Yes, of course.
Franck. Frank.
Frank is the best.
Frank is the best, but he has this giant binder that he
Yeah,
opens
it's
up to.
ridiculous.
He says, you can choose from this package and this package. And that's not really how I work. I work with people directly and communities directly on what it is that they want to eat, how they want to convey that. And that doesn't necessarily mean weddings. I wanted to expand my scope to different
Mhm.
kinds of creative communities. And the first creative community that I got to cook for was The Tank, which is a nonprofit theater
Ah,
in
very
Midtown.
cool.
I started my restaurant career juggling a part-time job there at the theater with this wine bar that I worked at in Red Hook. And so,
Oh,
so
wow.
you're trying to pay rent, right? Like,
Yes,
yeah.
we
So
all do 16 things.
I was managing ticket sales, managing the website, and I got to interact with so many different kinds of artists. But then I would clock out at 4 o'clock, go to my wine bar, work until 2 in the morning, rinse, repeat. And over the course of the years, I wanted to pursue food more. And when it came time for the tank to grow to a space where they wanted to start hosting galas, I was the first person that they asked about this. It
That's
started
awesome.
with pizza and a keg on the stage, which was very DIY, very us.
Yeah, very the tank.
Really scrappy and fun and creative. And then every year we kept upgrading and upgrading, and I've been their gala chef for the last 8 years. And the last 2 years we've decided to delegate that to a restaurant. Which has been cool and a new way to explore my relationship with them. But I love being around creative communities and I love feeding them because I think artists are probably the most underfed class of folks in New York City. It's
Yeah.
it's really tough to get a good meal when you're on a film set and when you're on a photo shoot and things like that, or even at a theater. And so I've recently started to do craft services, which I find very fulfilling.
That's so
Because
cool.
yeah, I got introduced to Fierstein, which is the Brooklyn College Film School, and a lot of students there have to fund their own thesis projects. And so they don't really have a
Yikes.
huge budget, but a lot of them have been just using Uber Eats, which I have a
Hmm.
huge problem with generally. Like delivery fees, labor issues, it
Yeah.
costs too much. And so I've been using this opportunity to one, feed more people in the film industry, and two, teach them better sustainable ways to make that happen. So if they can't hire me, I can give them a little worksheet and some links to recipes. Like our crew is 10 people. I need to make eggs for them. How many is that?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I really enjoy teaching people those basic skills because some people just don't know.
Yeah, most people I
Most people
might
don't
say.
know. And what I want to tell them is that it's within reach. And it
Right.
doesn't have to be a professional chef doing this for you all the time. There are ways around it, cost-wise, labor-wise,
Yeah, like
materials-wise.
this is learnable and can be sustainable.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so community-centered catering is not necessarily in weddings or a type of event. I tend to focus on ways that we can plug in the community into the cooking and into the process.
Yeah.
It's a very
Wow.
large
My
idea.
yeah, my brain is like maybe this and this and that. That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's really exciting. And of course, as an artist, I'm excited to hear that you're supporting artists. But yeah, I mean, you started out in the arts and you're
Yeah.
voicing a character on a podcast. And so,
It's all
yeah,
connected.
it's attached. It's attached. That's so cool.
Hmm.
So, how long have you been doing this all for? Was it kind of like a slow evolution, or was there a time where you decided, okay, I want to go into, you mentioned that you started realizing you wanted to go into food related work. Like, what was kind of your
Hmm.
process of transitioning in?
Oh my goodness. It's been a long journey. I started around, well, rewinding all the way back, when I had my culinary awakening, like I was a picky kid, like really
Mm.
picky. And in college, I got invited to a potluck for the first time without my family. And they usually are the ones that are bringing big trays of food, and they
Yeah.
have no problem with that. But me, because I was picky, like I didn't know what to do. And so I went Googling,
Wow.
like, oh, I can make this. I roasted some garlic and brought a baguette. And it sounds very simple, but that's kind of what unlocked it for me. And
Yeah.
I really wanted to go to more potlucks. I wanted to cook for people and have brunch. Oh man, brunch.
Mm.
The gateway
The best
meal
meal.
for
Yes.
hosting. Brunch is truly like, the first step when you get into hospitality. I don't know why, but I was really hungry to feed people. Oh, and hungry myself. Like I really wanted to eat everything in sight.
Yeah.
But I got into music first. I was in the music industry before I
Oh,
became a chef.
wow.
I was a publicist, for artists like Girl Talk, if you know who that is,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Black Moth Super Rainbow, Kaiser Chiefs. I used to work in radio and I really loved it, and
Wow.
it scratched a lot of itches in my brain. But I moved to New York for music while at the same time nurturing this newfound interest in food and
Mm.
the music industry. Very late nights, a lot of drinking. And I would
Yes.
invite,
Been there,
I've,
done that. It's
you know what it's like.
tiring.
Yes, it's very
Yeah.
tiring. And I experienced massive burnout at the age of 22, like
Yeah.
already. And I would invite my coworkers or artists that I met to come to my house for brunch on Sundays. I would have grilled cheese Sunday. And every week I
Yes.
hated repeating myself. And this is the origin of the random sandwich, which is Randwiches, my handle
Yes.
on the internet. Um, I kept running out of ingredients at the grocery store that I was interested in. And so I really started to study cheese. Ended up working at Murray's Cheese Shop for a while.
Oh,
And this
Maurice.
at the same time as the tank and another part-time job at a startup and all these things.
Oh
So
my
I've had many
gosh.
jobs and careers trying to fit together the puzzle of what my career would be. And it was
Yeah.
tough to figure out. So this was maybe around 2008 I left music to go to culinary school. Didn't like that very much. It's very French oriented, a lot of
Mm.
male dominated
Very formal.
scenes. So
Yeah.
I answered an ad on Craigslist for a lesbian wine bar and I loved it. And I
Perfect.
stayed I stayed there for many years, and they decided to learn how to cater on the job. And so I was sort
Wow.
of thrown into the pool, and I liked it. I liked this different way of cooking for people, in mass. It reminded me of my family. My family is huge. They love to cook, they love to eat. And I sort of channeled that. I came back to myself, came back to my family in that way. And I
Hmm.
decided to start my own thing. But starting your own thing in the mid 2000s was pretty hard financially. And so I
Yeah.
decided to take a startup job for the insurance. And after that, that kind of tech work got to me. Like it really made me unhappy. And I decided to go full on into food at the end of 2019. If you can imagine what this is like.
Oh, we all know
Yeah.
the next chapter of that.
The next chapter of that actually opened a lot of doors for me in a
Mm.
surprising way. I had 8 weddings scheduled for 2020, and all of them got
Wow.
got canceled. None of them got
Yeah.
rescheduled. That was a really
Oh,
tough time. But thankfully, I'm pretty, I guess, in touch with the food community on the internet, and I sort of put it out there into the ether that I was open to new kinds of work. Like I
yeah.
wanted to try cookbooks, I wanted to try food styling, I wanted to try everything under the sun to see if that was a viable path forward for me. And one of the ways I got to explore that was through an artist residency at Kickstarter. This
Mm.
is a very unique thing that they used to offer. This is actually very sad news. Just this week, they announced that the Kickstarter office is now like a Soho house for content creators, which is
Yeah.
disappointing to hear. But it was a very nurturing space, being around creative people and trying to figure out what is a creative life. How do you freelance? How do you write invoices? Like, I didn't know how to do that stuff.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah.
huge learning curve. And this might not work for everybody, but I applied for many other artist residencies in that time period to figure it out. I needed that freedom
Right.
because their day to day is so much different when you log on for a tech job and you have your lunch at the same time every day. Uh,
Mhm.
but creative life is very different.
Yeah, just giving yourself the permission to do this other thing during this time and give your
Yeah,
brain that space to think about it and figure it out. Absolutely.
it's very risky. But I was very lucky to have a very vibrant community around me where I could ask questions and ask for support and collaborate. And that's actually where Fun City came from, which is the tabletop role-playing
Mm,
podcast I'm on. Mike
cool. Okay.
Mike Ragnetta, one of the game master, was in the artist residency with
Oh,
me
wow.
at the time.
Wow.
So a lot of things were born out of that time for me, and I still sustain them now as creative projects that are part of this big ecosystem of things that I do. And
Yeah.
it's really fun when my communities overlap and that it becomes easier that way and that we all speak the same language or operate in the same frameworks. And so that's been a real gift.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I'm thinking about like the music industry and artist residencies and just sort of like this creative community aspect of how like bringing everyone together in these ways like we can have food, we can make art, we
Mm,
can do both at the same event, you know what I mean? Or like
yeah.
it's a show where people are eating or like I don't know. It's just really interesting thinking about these kind of overlaps and that like, you're interested in how food brings people together and like what,
Yes.
personalizing this food experience and then the same thing in the arts, it's like you're having this community experience. Like I feel this like underlying community theme, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I live it every day and I try to center myself on it because you can't really do these things alone.
Right.
It's really it's a tough place financially and labor wise. You really have to create boundaries and create your budgets and stick to it. And I know it's not for everybody. Yeah, I have a certain personality that loves spreadsheets. I love I love lists. And I don't recommend it for everyone. It's
Yeah,
it's it's a tough path to forge, but I really enjoy it because it's different every time I
right.
try something new. And that's what I wanted to kind of preserve. I didn't really like repetition. I didn't like doing the same thing every day. But creating these really strict templates for how I do things has helped me accept more flexibility in my life, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm like really chiming with all of this. I feel like kind of having the having the structure to then have the creativity and the freedom and the flexibility to fit all these things in is like exactly how I've structured stuff. And I love the way that it leaves space for newness. Like
Yes.
at times when I realized, you know what, I'm not even like looking out for this other stuff, or I've had to say no to things that I wanted to say yes to, like that to me is like a flag of like,
Yes.
okay, I'm two in the box. What can I do to kind of, elbow some flexibility back in? And it's definitely a balance because, financially,
Truly.
like we have to make it work and then those things that we're doing take time and sometimes they overlap with the things we love and sometimes they don't
Yeah.
and yeah I try to remember like nothing is written in stone and
Yes.
there's sort of these phases that you're talking about of like well I did this for a while and then I did this for a while and um just kind of like recognizing that that can actually be a way to grow and do the things you want to do. Like it doesn't have to be this
Yeah.
straight line or one thing for a super long time or
Or a slog, you know?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still get the same question from my parents. When are you going to get a job?
right.
And I'm like, this is my job.
Right.
All of
You're
these
like,
millions
I'm
of
paying
things
my
I keep,
rent. I'm
yeah,
doing
the
it. Yeah.
I assure you it's happening.
Yeah. What do you think, like, is there, like, I know, parents are so concerned for their kids in terms
Yes.
of having stability and things like that. Like, when they're asking you that, like, what do you think they're really asking? Like, you know, what
Are
what
you
are
going
what
to
are they
be
concerned
okay?
about?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
When is my grandchild coming? You know,
Also that.
all those things. It is, I
Yeah.
try to impress upon them that the times have changed, work has changed. I'm part of what people are calling the creative class, and it's a creative middle class. And
Oh,
there is
that's a new
no,
term. Thanks
that's a
to
new
me. Thank
term.
you for introducing me to that.
Yeah, there are lots of folks
Interesting.
who need to write articles about it because this is sort of the first time it's happening. Like the Patreon economy, the Substack economy, Kickstarter, all of these tools are
Yeah.
here for the creative class to do their thing. And it's a new language for folks of different generations, and it's been hard to explain.
Yeah.
They're like, why am I giving you money? Like, you should just get it from your employer. I'm like, well, the singular employer doesn't exist anymore. I know people who have full-time jobs and still have a side gig because
Yeah.
that's how it is. It's expensive to live where we live, especially in New York City, and to get the things that we want, we have to do a lot more, unfortunately, and that
Yeah.
changes the formula of what work is.
Yeah. I mean, it's also something I think about a lot in terms of it's hard because we have to do all the stuff, but it
Yes.
also gives us the opportunity to connect directly with people who care about the things that we care about. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with sustainability and, doing these interviews and this community and stuff. It's like, kind of finding your people and using your creativity in that way to shape whatever that looks like, you
Yeah.
know?
I just feel like we as a generation have a higher level of literacy that we've had to digest more so than other generations. Like the internet was being invented as we were growing up. Like we know how to edit audio, video, we know how to write. Like there's so many other skills that we are expected to know these days. And
Yeah,
it's a lot to keep up with.
yeah. It's making me think about kind of, there's like the environmental sustainability definition, and then there's also the personal, like
Yes,
health sustainability
I think about that
definition.
a
Like,
lot.
yeah. Are there things that you do in your work that sort of tie those two things together or like encompass sustainability as an idea and help you kind of keep going and be in balance in your life and also like on the planet?
Yeah, I think about food waste a lot. I always try to have a plan for leftovers or for what we don't use. So in the cooking process, we are using all the scraps for broth. We are composting. I have a relationship with North Brooklyn Compost at Memorial
Yeah.
Park. Always dropping things off, making sure
Amazing.
that we are diverting as much as we can from the landfill. Uh, People used to make fun of me when I worked at a high-end caterer. Like I was trying to fill in some time at a bigger caterer. Like maybe this is what I want. Maybe I want to work in a large company. And these people catered for Tribeca Film Festival. So there's a lot of
Wow.
tiny, precious things.
Right.
And I spent 8 hours cutting tiny circles out of a large flour tortilla, and then they would throw away the
Oh,
outline of it. Uh,
yeah.
they would cut open the top of a brie, scoop out the inside, and use that, and not eat the whole rind. So people would make fun of me for taking these things home.
You're like, this is food.
This is edible. This is still
Yeah,
edible.
this
I
is
will
really
use
good
it.
edible food.
Yeah, I'm gonna fry the ends of the tortillas for chilaquiles for myself at home. I'm going to use the brie ends for making fromage fort, which is cheese spread or like boursin,
Mm.
you know? So there are
Yeah.
things that can be made from a lot of the food waste in large scale kitchens. And so I would get very upset with this company. It will not be named. But I will always be saving every single scrap to see how we can use it or how we can divert it away. That's one way.
Yeah.
Um, for larger clients, for like office clients and film sets, I always openly ask, what do you want to do with the leftovers? I have these boxes for it. Can we give it to someone on the crew who wants to meal prep? Do we donate it to a shelter? Do we like how do we find a home for it? Because I will not put that in the trash.
Hmm.
I will dig it out of the trash if it's still safe. Um, but yeah, I try to instill that among the producers and directors that I talk to from the beginning. Like, this is
Yeah,
very
this is
important
part
to
of the
me.
process.
Yes, like so it's a full cycle. What are we serving? Will it feed people? Will it nourish them? Will it make them feel good? And what are we going to do with it afterward? And I really care about that. And for weddings even, I ask the
Mhm.
couple, what do you want to do with the leftovers? Most of the time we'll pack it up for them so they have something to munch on late night. But a really fun thing that we've started to do is pitch a late night menu. So we'll put everything into burritos, wrap them up in foil, heat it up for
I
them,
love
and at the after party there's a burrito drop. That's so exciting.
it. I love that
Or
that also kind of makes the sustainability like a fun feature
yeah,
as opposed to
yeah.
like, ugh, this thing we have to
I have
think
to
about
deal with
or
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, of
So,
course, I would love if someone was like, "Do you want me to donate this or whatever?" Like that to me would be really meaningful. But yeah, some people it's like, "Oh no," and just another thing to think about or whatever. So yeah, that makes it fun.
it's been great. Like, we've done late night burritos, chop up meats for nachos. We've even saved the things for brunch the next morning, like a big egg casserole with everything chopped up in it. So there are ways to reuse
Yeah,
it and make it feel fun and exciting. And yeah, it's just something that needs to be said at the beginning of a conversation when you are feeding people. It's not an
right.
afterthought for us.
Right. Yeah, like this is just part of what's happening all the way along the process.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that makes it easier too. Like
Yeah.
this is just integrated and this is important to everybody and it's just happening, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like an extra thing we have to do. It's so interesting that you're talking about, doing it at the beginning because it's reminding me of something that one of the facilitators said at an artist residency that I did about like being clear about expectations and roles and like saying what your assumptions are and what your hopes for the project are and everything. And, while that's relevant to creative work, like it's relevant to any kind of collaboration.
Yes.
And, you're really approaching this like as a collaboration of like, this is what's important to me, what's important to you, like, how are we going to do this together? And I feel like that also makes doing sustainable things easier
Yes.
because, like you were saying before, like it's hard to do this stuff by yourself, but kind of doing it together and having everyone being like, yeah, we're committed to this, like that makes it feel real and more fun. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's just,
Yeah, we're trying to
I
get
love
on the
these
same
like,
page. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love these overlaps between kind of creative collaborative process and like food and sustainability collaborative process. I mean, it's just people working together
Yeah.
similarly
Yeah.
in these environments. That's really cool. How did you learn about like how to do sustainable catering? Like where are places people can sort of figure this out or like, where
Well,
where
I
could
don't
I
know if
start?
I don't know if I learned it from a specific place. It was more about watching the budget. It was more about,
Mm.
oh, how do we maximize what we're spending here? Because all of this is such a risky endeavor to begin with.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be very careful about um, maximizing every dollar that we spent and making sure that none of that went to waste. Yeah. Oh, what's a book that I really, what was the name of it? There's a vegan book that someone gave me called Don't Feed the Bears. It was on an alternative press, and
Okay.
I couldn't find another copy of it. I don't know where my copy was. I probably lent it to somebody and forgot to ask for it back. So
Oh
if you're watching this, if you're watching
no.
this, please give it back because I
Circular
love it.
library, please. Yes.
But it's a vegan cookbook that pairs every recipe with a metal 7-inch like a metal band. And I'm not really a metalhead, but I thought it was so cool to combine vegan
Yeah.
cooking and music that way. And through zine culture, I think is where I found a lot of these ideas of using everything that you're given and finding new ways to reimagine food. So making it into broth, making it into a bread pudding, saving all your vegetable scraps and bones and things. And well, that wasn't in the vegan book, but you get what I'm saying. I
Yes.
think, yeah, I think a lot of plant-based cooking, vegan culture really opened my eyes
Mm.
to just thinking about food in a different way. And actually, it has influenced a lot of my newer menus because folks are practicing sort of a flexitarian diet. And I do too. I'm not as meat forward as I used to be. And um, whenever we have a menu with a list of people who have allergens, we always go by the most sensitive allergen. So
Mm.
if somebody has a nut allergy, there are no nuts on this menu. If someone
Right.
is vegan, we'll try to make most of the dishes vegan to start and then add in budget wise if they want to have meat or other things like that, but it'll certainly be in lower proportions. So
Hmm.
practicing plant-based cooking has changed the way that I cook and how I think about feeding people in a large group
Hmm.
because we want everyone to feel fed and full.
Right. Not like you get the lettuce,
Yeah, yeah,
the
and that
piece, one piece of lettuce.
that was
Yeah.
also a problem I had with the large wedding industry, like the industrial complex is, you're stuck with these options and it's pretty boring. Like a rice pilaf. And I'm sorry, there's no protein for you because we didn't think about that.
Right. You're just having what everyone else is having without part of it,
Yeah,
if
so
you're vegetarian or vegan.
if we
Yeah.
start from the most complex diet, then that like everyone will be fed by default.
Yeah. 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 That's so interesting. I mean, do you think that, like, because a lot of people are drawn to veganism, like, both for health and environmental reasons, that sort of unlocked, like, new ways of thinking about things? Or, like, why particularly was plant-based cooking the thing that kind of was, like, your gateway to sustainability in even non-vegan cooking?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a big meathead, like barbecue. My folks always had pork, always. I just didn't know how to feel full just
Mm.
removing meat. I didn't know how
Right.
to fill in the blank just yet. And, and reading a lot of vegan and plant-based recipes kind of changed the chemistry or they challenged the formulation of recipes. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Use,
yeah,
using nuts outside of just putting them on a cheese plate, like that was a big one for me. Like you
right.
can soak cashews and make it into cheese, its own cheese. I didn't
Yeah,
know that. You can make different kinds of milks from legumes. Like
yeah.
what? And so that opened up a whole nother arm of ingredient availability for me, which was cool.
Yeah. for people who aren't ready to like, you know, milk their own nuts or
Oh,
whatever
sure,
you want
yeah.
to call it.
That's hard mode. I
That was
totally
not a
acknowledge.
sentence that should be said out loud. Um, make nut milk of nuts. Uh, are there certain brands or products that, you go to in a pincher that you would recommend as like, yeah, these people are cooking this and making this cheese or whatever it is in an awesome way and like people can just use it as an ingredient, or do you really like recommend making everything by hand?
I think buying the product is a good stepping stone to see what you like.
Yeah,
Because some folks have texture issues or, or maybe it has a smell that you don't quite like. So I suggest like
right.
trying, a new alternative protein once a week, maybe like try one swap and see if you like it. And if you don't, switch it out.
Yeah.
And from there, I'm the kind of person, if I like something, I'm going to dive down a rabbit hole of how can I expand upon this? How can I use it? What are the different ways people are using it? So I'll open so many tabs. Like on my browser, I'll open like
Yes.
70 tabs and then compare and contrast. Oh, it works with frying. Oh, it doesn't work with boiling. It'll fall apart. And so I'll do a ton of research to see how
Mhm.
how else can I play with it, and it will become part of my life for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
like I'm a mad scientist when it comes to this stuff. Like I'll
Well,
I'll
that's
try.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
not everyone has the zest to do that. So, like, it's fantastic that you're doing it and then like creating these cookbooks and recipes and encouragements for people where it's like, yeah, I did this research, I figured it out. Here's what you can do.
Yeah, but I think yeah, buying products or trying different kinds of meal kits are helpful, but I do warn that a lot of meal kits have a lot of plastic waste in them. So check before
Yeah,
before you dive into things like that. But they are a good stepping stone between, making everything from scratch because that's pretty difficult and time consuming.
right, right,
Uh, I really love going to my farmer's market, and there's usually a booth that has a sample and a recipe card. A lot of them
right.
in New York City will give you a recipe card. Like, if you like this little sample thing that we made, here's how you do it.
That's cool. That's also
Yeah.
very generous that it's not like, the gatekeeping of you have to buy our thing to get this thing.
No.
Kind of like farmers market culture. For people who don't have farmers markets and stuff near them, are there particular blogs that you love
Ooh.
or recipes or just like specific meals that you like?
Ooh, even the farmers market's websites, which are accessible to
Mm,
everyone, will have a seasonality calendar of like things that are great right now. Because
right.
if things are not great right now, for example, like a tomato, then it most likely will be shipped or driven from thousands of miles away, which is not part of the local food system. And, that's more gas, that's more labor. And so things that are from far away and not part of the local food system are tend to be more harmful to the environment. And it's always great to support your local food system. That's why I love farmers markets. They source things from within a certain radius of the city, and it's just kind of better to support farmers, I think.
Hmm. For products like, let's say, I don't know, I was buying a vegan cheese or something. Like for me, I find a lot of times that's like a supermarket item, which
Hmm.
might mean that it's being shipped from somewhere else, but then that's helping me be vegan. Like, how do you kind of weigh these things when you're deciding, like, okay, it's more emissions, but it's not meat, or it's
I
no
know
plastic, but this is something we talk about a lot here at Uproot of like, how
it's a lot
how
of
do we compare and
I
contrast and
know.
kind of come out with like, okay, I think this is the better solution that I want to go with in real life where things are not perfect and like it's still worth making the effort?
Capitalism, right? Ugh. Well, it is tough to negotiate ethically the perfect product because there is no perfect product in
Right.
capitalism. It's I mean, it's a personal sort of formula of what you're willing to give up in that moment. Like, am I going to push on this particular quality of the product,
Hmm.
or will I take the time to do and make this myself? Like, do I have that time? Do I have the money? Do I do I have the wherewithal? And sometimes I will forgive it, you know. I
Right,
You need to sometimes. Like, how will I nourish myself otherwise? You're just kind
right.
of stuck in a
Or like
circle.
if participating in this is too expensive, like what are ways that I can realistically do it or do it sometimes or,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not all or nothing.
Yeah, and I hope people don't take that away, you know, like I hope that people know that there's flexibility in it and that you can look into these companies and see what kinds of efforts they're doing. Is it actually impacting things? Are they putting their money where their mouth is? Like, where's the follow-up? Do you see
Hmm.
them putting money back into the community or paying workers more or improving their
Mm.
packaging over time? And staying on top of that news, even just, 5 minutes a day, just reading the food world or specialty food newsletters or bulletins, it really helps me stay on top of it. I subscribe to Drexel Food Lab, which is out in Philadelphia. They publish a lot about the newest products and where they come from, who's behind them. I pay attention to the FDA. I mean, I have a lot of umbrage with the FDA, but they
Yeah, that's a
do,
that's a fraught one.
it is a fraught one, but
Yeah.
they do report on any outbreaks, on any unsafe food conditions.
Hmm.
And the more an ingredient is handled by different levels of production, the more likely there is an introduction of some contaminant or
Hmm.
or something or some mishandling. And so that's where you'll see what brands are sort of experiencing that. And you're like, oh, I should stay away from that. Or I should stay
Hmm.
away from cured meat for a while because there was a giant listeria breakout from boar's head, which was a big one last summer. Uh,
Whoa.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's a
that
massive brand.
that one that one affected every deli in Brooklyn, pretty much,
Yeah.
because a
Yeah.
lot of people carry boar's head.
Yeah, that's a very
So
common brand.
so I try to pay attention to that stuff
Yeah.
for my own
That's
awareness
also
and
interesting in
for
terms of like how you were talking about the, benefits of prioritizing shopping local.
yes,
Like that's another one.
because it's exchanged the least amount of hands
Yeah.
compared
Yeah.
to something that's been harvested, then processed and put into another thing and then repackaged and frozen and then
Hmm.
trucked.
Yeah. How does this sort of thing like localness, that's not a word, but you know what I mean? Um, or and like seasonality of vegetables and ingredients that you were talking about, like how does this play into the recipes that you include in your cookbooks or, maybe share in other ways?
Yeah, I when I'm talking to clients, uh, if they have an event that's 8 months from now, I'll give them that farmers market like availability list to
Mhm.
tell them what is going to taste the best. I mean, for them, their priority is what's tasting the best. And
Right,
if they say an ingredient or a dish that I know will not be the best at the time, um, I sort of explain that it actually might be more expensive
right. Less
if we have
tasty and
to.
more expensive.
It'll be less tasty and more expensive, so
Yeah,
why don't we go for the more tasty thing that's local?
yeah.
Yeah, so I try to educate folks about seasonality because it is connected to local food systems. And
Hmm.
and the farther something is, like the longer it's been off the vine, unable to get to its peak quality. So
Right, right. It's interesting how kind of prioritizing sustainability has these other
yes.
like positive things to it because sometimes people feel like, oh, I have to sacrifice things I like, or it takes so much more time, or it's so much more expensive. So I'm always excited hearing about like actually it saves you money, it tastes better, it's more nutritious, like you know here's the upside
Yeah.
while we're
And there's
doing this.
less packaging from farms,
Right.
It comes in a bushel or a crate or something, or you bring your own
Right.
bag.
Right, exactly. Or something you can like reuse and put your, I don't know. I was gonna say records. I don't know why I was gonna say that. Your record collection, and I guess we're in the Brooklyn vibe. That
I
just like
mean, yeah,
floated into my head, but yeah, whatever it may be. That's amazing. Um, I'm curious to ask you kind of as we're like starting to wrap up here, what are some of the reasons why? I mean, obviously you're very passionate about incorporating sustainable practices all the way throughout your processes. Why are you passionate about that? Like, what do you love about the world that you feel like that's important, or like, how did you kind of come to that?
I my practice is mostly about feeding a lot of people. And so I myself have a lot of power in that. And if I can
Mhm.
divert hundreds of pounds of food away from the landfill, I feel like I'm making real change. And I think
Mhm.
I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one way that I can engage, that I can understand, and I just feel like more people could be doing this. I want larger companies to pay attention, and
Mhm.
it's yeah, I want to be around here more. I want the world to still be here when I get old.
Yeah.
I want it to be a safe place, and I want it to be a place that we can rely on and still grow food from.
Mhm.
It's kind of alarming that a lot of year-round produce is now being grown vertically inside, away from the
Mhm.
sun,
Mhm.
and we're not getting the same kinds of nutrients. I mean, we're still getting food, but I
Mhm.
like the innovation, and I understand that it's a kind of a contingency for an inevitable planet deterioration, but I want to do what I can still, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Because if we kind of accept that, like, okay, this deterioration is definitely going to happen, then the things
Yeah.
that we do are not working against that and are allowing that to happen and enabling that. Whereas, what you're talking about is like, here's your thing that you're really interested in, that you're super passionate about, and these are the ways that you can contribute personally while you're doing the things that you love, which is like 100% my thing. I love that. Because, like if people are in love with food, like that's a great way to find joy in being sustainable, you
hmm
know?
I love all of it. Like
Yeah.
the whole fruit, the whole vegetable, And we
Yeah,
get to think about what happens to it afterward.
yeah. Yeah, you love the whole process and the whole collaboration of it and the whole like I'm picturing these sort of like nested circles. That's really beautiful. Um, okay, so real quick, just some sort of like silly fun questions at the end here.
Please, yes.
What's your favorite project you've worked on and why?
Oh my gosh.
Or a
I
favorite. I have such a hard time when someone says,
This is a
"What's
tough
the favorite?"
one.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to understand what it meant to be a culinary artist, but not necessarily a chef. I had this really cool opportunity to make a gallery exhibition for 2 weeks
Whoa.
at it used to be Baby Castles, which was a video game nonprofit sort of thing,
Okay.
and they offered artist residencies for 2 weeks. And so I made a comfort food exhibition, which I can send a link to you about
Yes, I'd
it.
love to see and share.
But I curated food video games that people could play in the space. I made art installations of comfort food, so a really comforting cheese blanket made out of chenille. I sewed an egg out of
Oh my
tablecloth.
gosh.
I reused hospitality items into
Love
comfort
it.
food. So it was like a squishy egg that you could use as a blanket. I had a felt bacon that you could crunch if you were a little frustrated. So that was pretty fun. And as part of that, I hosted potlucks. Different kinds of potlucks. There was one that was comfort food because that was sort of the theme of the whole exhibition. But then I
Mhm.
also had an ongoing project where you could drop off unused pantry staples, and I would try to make things from that, kind of like chopped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we were using things that people weren't going to open or use. And
Oh, I
so it was
love
really fun
that.
to create activities around this larger theme of comfort and trying to understand why do we need comfort food.
Hmm.
So that was very exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just like, yeah, food's not just about getting nutrients. Like,
Yes.
there's so much more.
It's emotional. Yeah, it's
Yes, it's
very emotional.
emotional, it's an experience, it's connecting time with other people and stuff. Man, that just gave me like 1,000 ideas.
I'm so glad.
That's that's awesome. I hope that this is like just the start of our conversation because I'm so inspired by everything you're doing. And yeah, one of the reasons I love doing these interviews is because, like I get filled up with inspiration and then it's like, okay, now we know each other and I can follow what you're doing and yeah, it's great. Um, what's a meal or ingredient you find yourself coming back to often?
A meal or ingredient I come to often. My goodness. I this is
Or
a
like
tough, it's
a
like my
fave
favorite
of the
child.
moment. Yeah.
It's my favorite child. Something that I've been doing for myself, I don't know if you know this about chefs, is that we're pretty bad at feeding ourselves. We're so
Makes
focused
sense.
on the work that we don't take the time to treat ourselves or to create a sustainable meal plan for ourselves. And so I finally got a big magnet calendar on my fridge. And this is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or this is when
Yeah.
we're planning to go out and things like that. And one thing that's really helped me lately is making a little extra rice or making a little extra broth or ordering if we are doing takeout or going to a restaurant, I'll order another side of something so that becomes a vehicle for the
Hmm.
next day and I have one less thing to think about.
Right. You're like, I've already got my starting block set up.
Yes, yeah. A foundational
That's
item.
great.
Like
Yeah.
I'll ask my partner to make double the amount of pasta so that we can have, something else
Hmm.
to play with for the rest of the week. So the one that I'm really playing with this week is garlic naan.
Delicious.
Ordered a extra stack of it from, just because we were already having dinner somewhere else. And we've been using it to make really cool egg wraps in the morning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love this. I love the like creativity and excitement that you're bringing to all of this too. It's making me want to cook more. It's great.
We're also trying to remove the mental burden of
Yeah.
choice. Because the first thing in the morning, you're thinking like, I just want to put something in my mouth. Like I don't,
Yeah. I don't want to have to
I don't
like
want to think
figure
about
out a
it.
science project,
So
doing research. Yeah, putting all the
yeah,
pieces
this
together.
is a new development for me because I do put so much thought into food that I need to just pull back sometimes. I need to
Hmm.
make the choice very easy so that I don't burn myself out first thing in the morning.
Right. Or it's like if you want to do all that thought, do it the day before or the
Yeah.
week before or something.
Yeah, so trying to make it easier, trying to make my life
Yeah,
easier.
I love that. Like, I would buy this cookbook. Thanks for ideas. What's your favorite season if you have one?
Well, I do love the beginning of spring because that's when the farmers market changes. We've gone from rutabaga to
Yes.
herbs and fl edible flowers, and there's more variety. I just love when
Yeah.
spring hits because it's like finally we're out of the woods.
Yeah, that's my favorite too. It reminds me like I can do new things and
Yeah, there's
short
more
sleeves.
availability. Yeah, short sleeves.
Yeah.
I can get my English peas. They're
Yeah, yeah,
huge and sweet in the spring. That's what I love.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, this might be related. I was gonna ask you what's your favorite plant or animal or vegetable or yeah.
Oh my gosh, my favorite plant, animal, vegetable. Hmm, I have a lot. I have a lot of favorite things.
You can say them all or
I can say
some.
them all. Well, I do love the allium family, the garlics, your onions. I would say that the scallion is the most fascinating one, because it was a COVID project. Whenever I would get scallions, I would save the bottoms and regrow them up to 4 times.
Yeah, wow.
You remember that? Did you see that when
Yes.
people were having windowsill
Oh,
scallions?
I was doing that. Yeah,
Yeah, we all were
absolutely.
doing it, but I still do it.
Yeah. I know I need to get back to that.
Yeah,
Like
it's free. You can keep regrowing it in
yeah.
water. Just
I
change the
had
water.
even tried the like regrowing your own ginger and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
That one was harder, I will admit.
I found it funny to try to grow avocado seeds
Oh,
because it
wow.
takes forever. It takes so long.
Yeah.
But then when it cracks open and you're like, oh, I did it.
Yeah. It's alive.
It's alive. I
That's
have ushered
amazing.
you back into the world of the living.
Yeah. Super cool. What are you reading or listening to right now?
Ooh, this is great. I'm trying to dedicate more time to books. I realized last year I only read like 2 books. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That are not
That can happen. That
cookbooks.
can sneak up on you.
Yeah, I read a lot of cookbooks just for work, but I nothing for leisure. So I checked out from my local library. I checked out the 2022 Best American Essays. I was edited by one of my
Mm.
favorite writers, Alexander Chi. He is fantastic. So it's been really interesting to hear different kinds of writing all throughout 2022. There are also collections for every year also, but I just particularly like that author. So I like
Right.
his point of view. Um, I'm listening to that. I'm also listening to Jamie Loftus's hot dog book because a
Okay.
hot dog is one of my creative mediums, and so I like to
Yeah.
make a lot of hot dogs. Um, Listening to, boy, let me pull up this Spotify. I'll just read a few artists. TV Girl, Fantasy of a Broken Heart, Lou Hazel, Free Cake for Every Creature. I like to listen to radio, NTS radio, Dub Lab, the Lot Radio here in Brooklyn, and so I discover a lot of different artists, and so I try to keep track.
Hmm.
And it's pretty hard to keep track.
Yeah. I gotta go heart that one so I
Yeah.
can find it
I'm
later.
like washing dishes and then trying to, oh, I gotta heart the song. Uh, but I'm constantly listening to music. That part of my life has never left me. So
That's
always listening
great.
to music in the kitchen.
Yeah. It inspires at work for sure.
hmm
Um, what is a personal sustainable habit that you enjoy or like a habit that you feel like is really impactful so you're happy to do it? I mean, you may have already answered this. You talked a lot about reusing food and food waste and things before, but if there's
I,
anything else, feel free to let us know.
I make a lot of broth. Like I save every scrap. I save cheese rinds. I don't know if folks know that you can do that, but if
Mm.
the rind doesn't have any paper or foil on it, you can save it and use it in broth. And I whenever the bag gets too full in the freezer, that's when I'll make a broth. And
That's
and
when you know it's time.
you use broth for so many things, not just soup. Like you can make gravy, you can add it to the end of stir fries, a splash here, a splash there, or you can even drink it with some
Hmm.
ginger and garlic. Like I make a lot of broth. That's something that I'm committed to all the time.
Yeah. Also makes the winter better.
Yes, yes. It's a lot
Yeah.
of soup season right now.
Yes. Broth gets us to spring.
hmm
Um, what is an idea that's inspiring you right now, or like advice that you would give your future or past self?
Oh my gosh.
I know this is a big one.
It's a big change that I've made. I'm trying not to hustle so much. It's it led to a lot of burnout last year. And there
Hmm.
were times when I couldn't open my eyes and perceive the
Hmm.
world. I'm like, I can't today. And feeding the sustainability of my own self. Like I need to take breaks. I need to take time with things, take care of my environment, clean myself. Like when you're in the hustle
Yeah.
mindset, a lot of things fall through the cracks and you sacrifice lots of yourself and you burnout is really hard to recover from. And every time you do it, it gets worse. So I'm really trying to add space and care to the things I do for myself. And
Hmm.
I think that everybody needs to take time for themselves. Because when you look around and you're burnt out, the undone laundry, the dirty dishes, like all this stuff compounds and makes you feel worse. So
Yeah, it becomes small things become overwhelming.
I'm trying to focus on those small things, make them better every time so that I can come back with a, oh, sorry, come back with a clean slate and do the best work that I can. So
Yeah.
rest is really, really important. And I'm not
Yeah.
scheduling things back to back anymore. No more,
Yes.
no more gigs on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. We're not doing that. We have 2 days of rest between each one and I'm better for it. I've already
Yeah.
seen the effects.
Right. And then you have more time for your cooking schedule on the fridge and
Yeah,
those things you're trying to prioritize to be
try to
healthy
try to
and feel
prioritize
well.
myself and no more burnout. Try to prevent burnout from the beginning.
Yeah. I've also been thinking about like what are ways that we can help each other prevent burnout because it can feel like a full-time job just like defending the space that you're trying to carve out for self-care.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I
know?
think a simple thing that friends can do is reach out and just say hello. No pressure to do something. I mean, it's great if you can and have the time to do
Hmm.
something together. Uh, but even just checking in, saying, "Hi, how you doing?" Like that.
Yeah.
Because
Staying
some people
connected.
just won't reach out. If you're in the middle of a storm of activity, you're not thinking of taking care of yourself and
Right.
somebody kind of interrupting a little bit and being like, "Hey, how are you?" And you're like, "Wait, how am I actually?"
It's true. Also, like, I feel like when I make more space for the things that I need, then I also have more space for reaching out to other people too,
Mm-hmm,
so that we're
mm-hmm.
not just like in our individual whirlwinds, like
This is
barely
something
making it happen.
this is another priority that I've made for myself, which is the word companionship. And I
Mm.
think it encompasses a lot more, and I think it inspires activity. Even just doing simple things like going shopping together, doing an errand
Hmm.
together, and not necessarily spending money or going to restaurants or bars. So I
Yeah,
think
just
doing
being together.
mundane tasks together is excellent. Excellent way
Yeah,
to
I
have
love that.
companionship. Yeah.
And also, like, those are the things it's like, oh, I have to fit this in, so it makes it
And I
more
don't
fun.
I don't want to be at the mechanic by myself, you know? Like
Right.
I don't want to wait for the laundry, and look at my phone. It's so much better to talk to
Yeah,
someone else. Yeah,
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
something that I've been starting to do.
Yeah. And like certainly grocery shopping and cooking and things like that. Like I love doing those things in company.
Hmm.
Companionship. That's great. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
the word I was kind of focusing on this year was like play in terms of having time for creativity. And in my head, that encompassed companionship, but I
Yeah.
didn't think of that word specifically. I really like that.
Yeah, it's different from friendship. I think
Yes.
it's a different kind of friendship and
Hmm.
it can be with so many more people, I think.
Yeah.
Even new friends. Hey, new friend, want to go to
Yeah.
the post office with me?
Yeah, there's kind of like more meaning to it than some
Mm.
of our other friendship and community type words, which, maybe sound a little more abstract or official, or
Yeah,
we've heard them a
official.
lot.
Ah.
So, yeah, there's something nice about companion that's like, oh, companionship. Yeah, this is a state of being, and there's
Yes.
something really lovely in there. Well, speaking of coming together, where can people find you and check out your work? And if there's any projects in addition to the new one that you mentioned at the beginning that you want to let us know about? Please
There are
tell us.
so many things. But my website is www.randwich.es, or you can find me on Instagram as Randwiches. I'm also there as Family Party Catering if you are interested in those kinds of services. We also try to educate folks about entertaining. So everything we have on our website, familypartycatering.com, is sort of general entertaining topics like bubbles, like bubbly drinks. What are they? What can you serve with them? And then always some
Amazing.
advice about how to serve them. And so
Hmm.
we're trying to, I don't know, change the landscape with catering. It's not just some mysterious, mysterious job that you pay somebody to
Right.
do. And
Right.
so, trying
That's
to
cool.
enact more, I don't know, community activity with that. I'm on the podcasts Fun City, The Cinema Chefs, and I'm also on a mini series called Mage Hand High Five. It's a 4 episode series where I play a mushroom naturally, a talking mushroom. I try to
Amazing.
I try to bring all this knowledge into
Yes.
the games that I play.
It's just
Um,
all interweaving.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. What else? I don't know. If you'd like to know everything that's happening of the moment, Instagram is probably the best way to keep in touch and follow along. Because I'm always doing something new. It's a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Well, this definitely brightened my day. Thank you for taking time to talk with me and teach us about everything you're doing and things we can do. It's great. Super inspiring, and I really appreciate everything you're doing.
You're very
So
welcome.
thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Bye, everybody.